here we are. It's been a while. It feels like a while, but maybe it hasn't been a while. Okay, it's been a while since we've posted. Not that long, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. But I wanted to come on to camera and give you a little understanding on why we haven't posted in a while. Let's start from where we left off, which is in Ecuador, in Quito. Now, we put out a video last that was intended to be the last video, but then I got to thinking, we did a walking tour in Quito. It was really fun. We've seen a lot of cool places, and we got to learn a lot of local history about Quito and Ecuador itself. But during this walking tour, we actually didn't bring the camera. We didn't really want to vlog it. We just wanted to take it in ourselves and be off camera. But I said, I really wish I filmed that. And what I did was I took little clips and photos on my phone, and I decided I'm gonna put those together into a video and make like a voiceover or something. So today's video is all about Quito's walking tour. And before we start, I just want to say this is going to be the last video in the Ecuador series for this trip to Ecuador. As you can see behind me, this is not Ecuador. So let's talk about the Quito walking tour. So what we did was the Quito walking tour. Now, we met somebody through our accommodation of Airbnb that we were staying at. He is a local Venezuelan that's been living in Quito for many years now, and he works as a tour guide through a local hotel, and he offered to give us a tour for free. Now, it wasn't a free tour because of course we tipped. We're not gonna take a tour for free and not help somebody out that's giving us that tour. So anyways, on this tour there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 places we visited. This was all over the span of maybe 5 hours or so, just to let you know. And it's pretty much in the Old Town area. So starting at number 1 is a place called Palacio, Arzo, Bispo. I think I pronounced that right. But basically what this place is it's right off the main square in Old Town, the Plaza Grande. It's in an inner area of a building. It's a big inside place where there's a restaurant, there's some shops, and we stopped at a sweet shop. This sweet shop was pretty cool. The people that worked there were awesome. They let us try a lot of local sweets and really get a taste for candy in their culture and sweets in their culture. But basically what we tried was some really important candy to history here in Ecuador. What we tried was this sugar candy. They were blue, yellow, many different colors, and basically they have alcohol inside. So back in the day, to make a long story short, the women weren't allowed to drink. How did they drink? They put the alcohol inside of the candy and they chewed on candies all day. No one knew they were drinking. Brilliant. They are smarter than us, as my tour guide said to us. And stop 2 is Plaza Grande. Okay, so outside of this Palacio Arbo Bispo is the Plaza Grande. It's one of the most famous places in all of Quito, and it is a very historic meeting point for people of many generations here. Here we have the Monument of Independence. It's a very significant monument marking the independence of Ecuador, which started in 1809 and it was eventually fully independent in 1822. First, Guayaquil became independent in 1820, but eventually the rest of the country followed. In 1809 is when the fighting for independence really began. There was a man named Antonio Jose de Sucre who led the army to fight the Spaniards and eventually defeated them at the Battle of Pichincha. Now back to the tower. Here at the tower there are some symbols. We have a lion at the bottom. The lion represents power and royalty. It is wounded, meaning that they beat the Spaniards. There is also an Indian condor right there with a chain on it. This signifies freedom. The country is now free. Also, there are some spears around the base of it. This just signifies the world, unity. There are some rifles, some banners, and a cross. These show more about the defeat of the Spaniards as well as Catholicism that is now there. And at the top is Lady of Liberty to show that she is giving light to the people of Quito. And the political power is to her back, so they are in the dark. And Quito and their people are never in the dark. Also, last thing here is on the ground right next to the monument is this little symbol. It shows like a sun, a star, basically meaning that it is the circle of life. And there are many of these throughout the city. I think maybe there's 7 or 12 of them or something like that. So if you're walking around, you can look for them. So next is stop 3. It is just outside of the square, a little ways down, and I have to read it off to the list because it's very long. It is Iglesia de la Compania de Jesus, basically Church of the Society of Jesus. Now this church was originally built a very long time ago, 1605, I believe. It is a Baroque church made by the Spaniards. And why is it so significant is because of the architecture inside. It has 53 kilograms of gold, shaved gold pieces of art that is displayed all throughout the church. And it is known to be dedicated to Antonio Jose de Sucre now. But within this church you can find some other Spanish architecture styles as well. Okay, next up is stop 4, just a little ways down the way, also is Central Bank of Ecuador. Now this is a very important piece of history in Ecuador. So if you don't know, Ecuador is on the US dollar and they have been using it since 2000, I believe. Well, the bank used to have what is known as Ecuadorian Sucre money, but this ended in 2000. There was a guy named Yamil Mahuad, I think. Basically, I think he was a president or a man of higher power, and the people of Ecuador were demanding that he resign because the currency was just free falling, people's bank accounts were freezing, and they were losing access to their money. So basically, there is a very long history on the change from the sucre to the US dollar, but to make this very short, the guy in power at the time, he basically was supporting the banks and not the people of Ecuador. So everyone's bank accounts froze in 1999. He wanted to freeze their accounts for up to 1 year, and he ended up freezing their accounts for 5 days, which was only supposed to last 1 day, so people couldn't access their money for 5 days. His actions caused immigration, poverty, and eventually the changing to the US dollar and abandoning the Sucre currency. Stop 5 is the corner of Sucre. This building is also known as the Garcia Moreno. And here it is across from the bank and across from the church. Now it's very significant because of the architecture on the building. Some say that there are different myths. Now some say that the guy that built it, he had a conversation with the owner and decided to change one piece of it that was supposed to be built in a certain way. There are babies going all the way around the edge of it at the top, and one of the babies on the corner has something being exposed. You know what it is, I'm not gonna say it. Now one of the myths is that the owner of the building and the guy that had to build it, they didn't agree. Maybe he didn't get paid all of his money, so he said, you know what, I'm gonna humiliate the face of your building and I'm gonna make the baby look like this. So he did that. Another reason is to show changes in the rights of women and infertility and marriage. The last reason is to point it towards the church to go against the religion, of course. All right, next stop is stop 6. This one's a little bit further away, but we had to walk to. It is called Iglesia de San Francisco. It's another church. This is another monumental Baroque church with lots of architecture inside. And it is very important and famous for some reasons. One being the original Palacio is here in the church. That is the big aluminum looking statue up on the hill in Quito. Another reason is that of all the Baroque architecture inside of the church, there are many pieces with the faces of Ecuadorian people. These are faces that are just local to the culture here and not just general faces of people in the world. Also, something that's interesting is that the vice president's son had just got married here recently, last month or 2 months ago, to a Victoria's Secret model. But last thing about this church that is very interesting is that legend says it's unfinished. There's a missing block somewhere. No one knows where this missing block is. And when it is finished, it should be the end of the world. on there, we're almost done. I promise, we're almost through this. All right, stop 7 was a really quick stop. We didn't even stay there for more than a couple minutes, but it is the Arco de la Reina. This arch is very important to the city because it is like an original gateway into the city, to the Old Town area. Now, if you're standing on one end, you can see into the Old Town looking up towards the Basilica. And if you're standing on the other end, you can look through and see up to the hill of Palacio. So it's a very cool photo spot. It's photogenic for you. You can get some nice photos, and it's a great walking path going through the Old Town area. Also, one of the first hospitals. It's like right down the street, maybe a block away. So it's pretty cool. You can see that there. Also, I just want to say real quick, while walking to these different stops, there were all these different crosses. We saw maybe 3 of them or so. But there are 7 crosses in Quito along that one street. I forget the name of the street. It might be like Marisco or something like that. But these crosses mean that there are 7 churches along the way. Okay, stop 8 was Calle de la Randa. And this is a very famous street in all of Quito. It is sometimes known as the partying street. You find a lot of locals, a lot of backpackers there, and everybody. But it's a very historic street in Quito city center because it's been there forever. It is one of the oldest streets in Quito. But basically, at one time, this street had a lot of damages and was falling apart, and they decided to rebuild it. And now it is very nice looking, so it is a very photogenic area. You can come here, take some photos. But often, if you walk down this street at any time of the day, during the day, the evening, you will see there's a lot of drunk people. And actually, when we walked down here, there were some people sleeping on the sidewalk because they were highly intoxicated. But come down here, check it out, get a drink, hang with some friends, and meet some local people. Okay, last stop on this walking tour was Parque Navarro. Well, I say walking tour, but to get to this place, you had to take the bus because it was a little too far away. And this is in an area called La Floresta. But this is a very popular tourist area as well. It's known to be very safe and full of great places to eat. Also here, you're going to find a mix of the local culture, the local people, and foreigners living and visiting. But you will find very affordable food, great tasting food, pretty much every authentic dish there is, some foreign food and stuff like that. But in this particular spot of Parque Navarro, here you're going to find some really good street food. They have these street food stalls, about 4 or 5 of them. During COVID, it's very limited. There are not as many there. You have to take your food away, and you can't sit at the tables and stuff like that. But you can still go there, get some food, and then go sit into the actual park. Basically here, we just tried a bunch of local food. We made a video about trying different street food in Quito, and some of those foods are the ones that we tried. So if you haven't seen that video, go back, check that out because it's a good video. But yeah, this place is a must-go spot if you're into trying different food in different countries that you visit. This is one place you're gonna want to see, and you don't want to miss it because the food is so good and very affordable. You can have a meal for 2 people for probably under $5-6. Is that budget or what? Alright, so there you have it. That's 9 stops on our walking tour that we took here in Quito. I just wanted to show you these places because in all of our other videos we focused on different things in different areas and different places within the city, and I didn't want to leave these out because these are important places. There's a lot of history and culture here that you can learn about. Now, if you do come to Quito, I totally recommend taking a walking tour You can probably find them anywhere online. Maybe the accommodation you stay at, you might find one. But you're not going to want to miss it because it's a great way to learn about the local culture and you don't have to spend that much. Usually they're free and you just tip your guide. Well, in terms of Quito, in terms of Ecuador, this is the last video. We are in the United States now, as you can see. We've been here for about a month. We have some other videos we were supposed to put out, and we haven't yet because I've been wanting to put out this video and close out the Ecuador series. The next video you will see coming out after this is probably going to be our return to the United States, a travel day video, because I always like doing those and showing people what it is like to travel in that current time and that airline, the airports we visit, and so forth. And then lastly, after that, we should have another video coming out that is going to be about traveling from one state to another state, but not by plane and not by car, not by walking, by a different form of transportation that isn't so popular in the United States as it is in some other countries and places in the world. That is traveling by train. So we take a train from my state of Massachusetts and her state to Ohio, and we show you that experience and what it's like. So look forward to those videos that will be coming out soon, and we hope to see you traveling again. Well, that's going to be it for this video, and we really look forward to traveling again soon. And like always, guys, thanks for watching these videos, and we will see you on the next adventure. Damn, my coffee is cold. Probably didn't go too well. It's okay. Now editing this is going to be a nightmare. The things I do, but I love it. It's so fun. There's a lot of information on here. I'm not going to read it all, and I only have a little bit of clips to work with. It's about 4 minutes worth of footage, so I have to somehow make this all fit into it. And as you can see, maybe you noticed, I got a haircut. It's been a while. I didn't get a haircut since Mexico, way back in, man, what was that? June. Yeah, when we arrived to Mexico in June, I got a haircut there, and then I didn't get one ever since. And it was getting long, it was getting annoying, so I trimmed it up, and yeah, it feels better.
There's things about the house that were just like, we knew we would have to fix.
Somebody's working on their house over here, I guess. Hopefully they don't mind a vlogger in their area. To show that Catholicism is here. And I think I said that wrong. Catholicism. Basically the Church of Society of the Jesus. Of the Jesus? What?